For the time of this speech, I would like you to put yourself in my family's position. Now, not to get gruesome right off the bat, but imagine driving over the hill in your side-by-side and seeing a bunch of cows bunched up. Weird. All the babies are calling for their mamas, and you see it, a baby with half of his back missing, and he is full of maggots. Yes, that cut is full of maggots. She should have been dead. Now, I'll skip to the end so you don't have to hear the gruesome parts, but after we had our vet analyze it and check it out, they determined it was a grizzly bear. She did live, she made a full recovery, she just will have a hollow spot in her back forever where the muscle is missing. So, now I ask, would you want to make a change to help people understand the problem that these predators cause? Before you decide, hear me out a little more. Because believe me when I say that I have full respect for the importance of these beautiful monsters we call grizzly bears. I have been raised a hunting, outfitter, and cattle rancher's daughter. I have studied and have a degree in natural resource law enforcement. Fish and Game in Alberta deemed the bears an at-risk species and placed a hunting ban on them 15 years ago. For a couple years, it was a subtle change. Not too much problem, but the last few years, it has been an enormous problem with overpopulation. Some would say that the biotic balance is gone. My goal in this speech is not looking for pity, but simply to open your eyes to recognize the struggle that predators have caused for southern Alberta cattle ranchers. I will do so by explaining the three biggest problems: urbanization, vulnerability, and wildlife management laws. So, what is urbanization, you might ask? Simply put, urbanization is humans building and invading wildlife's habitat. In a study done by the Ecological Evolution Board in 2020, after examining the sightings, incidents, and attacks of multiple predators, they determined that there was grizzlies in new places they had never seen before. Due to the range being pushed out so far and the counts being skewed because they're not considering these new habitats in their counts, the counts are all skewed. There have been large amounts of urbanization, which is pushing the wildlife into the cities and the rural areas. This is creating a huge issue, like I said, and creating an abnormal range for these animals that we are not used to. Therefore, they are in areas that cattle have never had to deal with them in before. So now, this leads me to our next problem, vulnerability. Due to the predators being pushed out, we have a larger area where there's an imbalance and these cattle are much more vulnerable. Different predators all have different hunting styles, but all in all, they go for the easier, slower target. Therefore, they're going to go for the cows over the elk and deer. We have obscene amounts of elk and deer that roam our hills at home back in Canada. You would think the bears would target them because that's their natural prey. Nope. On our ranch, we have personally driven over the hill one day and come up on 3 grizzly bears. I mean 3 big grizzly bears circling our cattle and chasing the calves around until they can find that most vulnerable calf. And what can we do? Nothing. We can call the Fish and Game, wait till they come out and try and chase them off. I don't think that's right. Well, in the meantime, there's elk in the valley over, but they're going to go for the cows every time. In the study done by the Colorado State University in 2019, they stated, killings on livestock may be more frequent than wild prey because livestock are much more vulnerable to predation. This quote speaks to the problem at hand as it proves that we are seeing much more kills due to the livestock's new battle they have to fight, and we are no longer able to hunt them in these areas. Fish and Game believed that there was a steep decline in the grizzly bear population. Therefore, they placed a ban on the grizzly bears in Alberta 15 years ago. This caused the numbers to replenish in abundance, like I spoke about earlier. According to the Colorado State University in 2019, quote, resulting incident increase could be due to the bears' change in behavior in the absence of hunting, unquote. This is no different than in Alberta. Because these grizzly bears are not being hunted, their behavior has changed. They're cocky now. They can't be shot. They can't be hunted. They just roam and do whatever they want. Eat our cows, eat our calves, rip the babies' backs. So this has been creating a quote-unquote frustration in ranchers, unquote, according to the University of Colorado in 2019. They have stated that it is, quote, loss of control, unquote. Once a change is made and we have to fight the government a little less and wait less than an hour for Fish and Game to show up to help us get rid of these grizzly bears, then maybe us ranchers won't complain so much. As stated, urbanization and vulnerability and hunting laws have made a huge impact on the predator problem in southern Alberta. Maybe in the years coming, the government and the higher-ups in the cattle industry will be able to make some exceptions to the hunting bans and come up with some better solution. But for now, all we can do is get our voices heard. So, after listening to this speech, all I ask of you, as a fourth-generation rancher and a big game hunter, is that the next time you see an article hating on ranchers about the wolf problem in Yellowstone or the grizzly problem in Canada, and they're wanting us to save the wolves and save the grizzlies, please just do your research before you make up your mind on a stance on this giant problem in our everyday lives as ranchers. We're just working hard to put food on your table.